Remember when this ballad completely changed rock forever? Or when this other one taught you what love really felt like? There was a time in the 80s when a simple rock ballad could stop the world. You didn't need to scream, run, or prove anything. All it took was a broken voice, a slow guitar, and suddenly everything we carried inside found a way out. Today, we're going back to those ballads that made a whole generation cry, hug, and remember. Songs you never forget, because when they start playing, something inside us wakes up again. 14. Love Bites by Def Leppard. Love bites something we already knew, and so did the guys in Def Leppard. The band was known for flawless production. Every song sounded like it was built in a futuristic lab. But Love Bites took that philosophy to the extreme. The backing vocals are so heavily processed they almost sound alien. Yet underneath all that technology, there's a guitar crying for real. The lyrics talk about the pain of love, how something so beautiful can bite and leave scars. The album Hysteria sold more than 25 million copies worldwide. Love Bites was the only single from the album to hit #1, and it sold another million on its own. Here's something many don't remember. Drummer Rick Allen recorded this track with only one arm. He had lost the other in a car accident 2 years earlier, yet he kept playing, kept being part of the band. That determination is in every drum hit. Love bites, but true warriors keep going. Before we continue, we'd love to get to know you a little better. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. Let's keep going. 13. I'll Be There For You by Bon Jovi. John Bon Jovi had it all. Fame, money, millions of fans screaming his name. But in 1988, he decided to look the other way and write a promise that would go down in music history. I'll Be There For You is the perfect definition of a power ballad. It starts soft and intimate, then it explodes. The drums hit like thunder. The backing vocals rise like an army, and John promises he'll be there always, no matter what. The song was part of the album New Jersey, which sold more than 18 million copies worldwide. As a single, it sold 1.5 million. Here's something even more surprising. The track was almost left off the album. John thought it was too commercial, too obvious, and that it broke from his style. He was wrong, because that obviousness is exactly its strength. It's direct, it's honest, it's what we all want to hear from the person we love. I'll be there for you. Hit that like button if you love rock ballads too. 12. Is This Love by Whitesnake? David Coverdale was 40 years old and on top of the world. Whitesnake had gone from being a blues rock band to a hard rock monster. And right when they were at their peak, they made us fall in love with this song. Is This Love wasn't like the other sad ballads of the era. This one was different, sensual, powerful, almost dangerous. The music video became an instant icon. Tawny Kitaen with her wild hair, dancing on the hoods of those white Jaguars. Every teenager in the 80s remembers those images. But here's something few people know. David Coverdale wrote these lyrics thinking about his upcoming marriage to Tawny. It was real love, a genuine question he was asking himself. Is this love? It sold 2 million copies and peaked at #2 on the US charts. That opening guitar sound is instantly recognizable. And Coverdale's raspy voice asking about love still echoes in our hearts. 11. Woman in Chains by Tears for Fears. The decade was almost over, and Tears for Fears decided to say goodbye with a masterpiece that was also a sweet ballad. But not a conventional one, an epic, profound one. Woman in Chains is a statement about oppression and liberation exactly when we needed it most. Roland Orzabal wrote the lyrics inspired by the women he had seen suffer throughout his life, including his own mother. But what makes this song truly unique is the extraordinary collaboration most people forget. None other than Phil Collins, who shone with Genesis, plays the drums. And Oleta Adams' voice lifts everything to another level. A black woman singing about the chains that bind women. It was powerful, it was necessary, it was unforgettable. The single barely sold 2 million copies, but its artistic impact was enormous. It's the perfect close to a decade that saw the birth of modern feminism, a creation ahead of its time. And Hard to Say I'm Sorry by Chicago.
Everybody needs a little time away.
Chicago came out of the 70s with a different sound, softer than the hard rock bands, more elegant, more adult. But with Hard to Say I'm Sorry, they proved they could break hearts too. Peter Cetera, with his crystal clear voice, sings about how hard it is to apologize, to admit you were wrong.
It's hard for me to say I'm sorry.
To swallow your pride and say those two difficult words, I'm sorry. The song hit #1 and sold more than 2 million copies. It was included on the soundtrack of the movie Summer Lovers, which boosted its popularity even more. But its true home was adult contemporary rock radio. That opening piano is unmistakable. Those first notes instantly take you back to 1982. To shopping malls, to coffee shops, to Sunday afternoons with the radio on. It's impossible to make a list of 80s ballads without including Chicago. This melody is mandatory. It's history. It's part of our youth. 9. Alone by Heart. Ann and Nancy Wilson were sisters, and together they conquered the rock world. But in 1987, Ann did something extraordinary. She took a song written by someone else and made it completely her own. Alone was composed by Billy Steinberg and Tom Kelly. You might not recognize their names, but you should know they're the same guys who wrote Like a Virgin for Madonna. And when Ann Wilson took their creation, it became something completely different. It's impossible not to get chills from that chorus, that vocal explosion that sounds like contained desperation finally breaking free. The track hit #1 in the United States, sold more than 2 million copies, and proved a woman could dominate rock with the same force as any man and even more. Ann Wilson singing Alone with full power is one of the most impressive moments of the decade. Loneliness never sounded so powerful. What's your favorite rock ballad? Drop it in the comments. 8. Carrie by Europe. Everyone knows Europe for the final countdown. But in Latin America and Spain, this song was just as big as their biggest hit, maybe even bigger. Because Carrie spoke straight to the heart. Joey Tempest, Europe's vocalist, wrote the lyrics inspired by a relationship that had ended. A real girl, real love, real pain. That crystal clear keyboard that opens the song is the sound of 1986. It's impossible to hear it without being instantly transported back to that era. 15th birthday parties, graduation dances, summer nights with the radio on everywhere we found that melody. It sold more than 3 million copies worldwide. In Sweden, their home country, it became an unofficial national anthem. but it was in Spanish-speaking countries where it truly found its home. Here, Carrie played on every station, and especially in every broken heart. 7. Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison.
Say every rose has its thorn.
Glam metal was always synonymous with excess. Huge hair, over-the-top makeup, endless parties. Until one day, Bret Michaels picked up an acoustic guitar, sat down, left all that behind, and told a real story. Every Rose Has Its Thorn was born from a devastating moment. Bret called his girlfriend from a payphone after a show and heard another man's voice in the background.
But I guess that's why they say every...
That simple, that brutal. It sold more than 3 million copies and hit number 1. It was Poison's only number 1. The cowboy ballad of glam metal. Honest, raw, without the usual genre frills. Just a man with his guitar telling us every rose has its thorn, that everything beautiful comes with pain, that perfect love doesn't exist.
Every rose has its thorn.
Here's a detail that says it all. Bret Michaels has said in interviews that he wrote the song in 20 minutes, sitting on the bathroom floor of a cheap hotel with his heart shattered. Authenticity simply can't be faked. 6. I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner.
In my life, there's been heartache.
Imagine a recording studio. The musicians of Foreigner are doing their thing, and next to them stands a gospel choir of 40 voices, the New Jersey Mass Choir. When Lou Gramm sings and repeats the title in the chorus, those 40 voices answer and something magical happens. Rock meets gospel. The earthly meets the divine, and one of the most universal songs ever written is born.
I wanna know what love is.
Mick Jones, the guitarist and main songwriter, wrote this track during a difficult time in his life. His marriage was falling apart, his band was facing internal tensions, and he was genuinely asking himself, what is love? It sold more than 5 million copies worldwide. Hit number 1 in the United States, the United Kingdom, and 7 other countries.
I want you to show me.
But more important than the numbers is what it represents. It's one of those songs everyone sings. Rockers, housewives, executives, teenagers. When it plays anywhere on the planet, all the voices join together just like the New Jersey Mass Choir did. Because we all want to know what love is. 5. Angel by Aerosmith. Aerosmith was dead, or at least, that's what everyone thought. Drugs, excess, and internal fights had destroyed one of the biggest bands of the 70s. But in 1987, they rose from the ashes in a way no one expected. Angel was part of that glorious resurrection. Steven Tyler proved his voice was still intact, that he could still scream like a demon and whisper like an angel. In its lyrics, it speaks of finding that person who saves you, who lifts you when you're down, who gives you wings when you forgot you could fly. And here's something many don't know. For Tyler, that person was his daughter Liv, who stayed with him even in his darkest moments. But the song is universal because we all have our own angels. Angel reached number 3 on the US charts. The album Permanent Vacation sold more than 5 million copies. And Aerosmith was a giant once again. This melody was the first step of that triumphant comeback. 4. Heaven by Bryan Adams. Before he conquered the world with Everything I Do and Robin Hood, there was this, a Canadian kid with a raspy voice and his heart on his sleeve. Heaven is pure sincerity. No tricks, no elaborate production. Just Bryan Adams singing about love like it's the first time anyone ever did. The song was originally written for the movie A Night in Heaven, But the movie version was different, softer, less intense. Brian re-recorded it for his album Reckless and turned it into an eternal classic. It hit #1 in the United States, sold more than 5 million copies, and became the melody you dedicated to your first love. And it was the simplest, most perfect way to say you loved someone. Bryan Adams proved you don't need to be complicated to be deep. Sometimes the simplest words are the truest. Subscribe to the channel if you want more videos with the music of your youth. 3. Faithfully by Journey.
Oh, girl, you stand by.
Steve Perry had one of the best voices of the entire decade. That's not an opinion. It's a fact, and Faithfully is the ultimate proof. His beautiful voice sang to us about life on the road, about being far from the one you love, about empty hotels, about phone calls that are never enough. But the real author was Jonathan Cain, the keyboardist who wrote it thinking about his wife.
Faithfully.
About how hard it is to keep a marriage alive when you spend 300 days a year traveling, when every night is a different city, when you miss someone so much it hurts to breathe. The song reached #12 in the United States. The album Frontiers sold more than 6 million copies. But numbers don't tell the whole story, because Faithfully became a wedding song for an entire generation. The promise you made at the altar, the melody you danced to on your first night as husband and wife. And that's worth more than any sales figure. 2. Still Loving You by Scorpions. There are heartbreaking ballads, and then there's Still Loving You. In Europe and Latin America, this is possibly the most important rock ballad of all time. That opening guitar arpeggio is unmistakable. Those first notes stop you in your tracks. And when Klaus Meine starts singing, something breaks inside you. The lyrics tell the story of a love that's ending and yet refuses to die. That's why Still Loving You became an anthem of reconciliation. It was dedicated on the radio or listened to in silent tears. It sold more than 6 million copies worldwide and became one of the most successful ballads in history. But here's a detail few people know. Rudolf Schenker, the guitarist, wrote the music thinking about his own marriage in crisis. And it worked. He reconciled with his wife. The song saved his love. Music did what it does best, heal. 1. Patience by Guns N' Roses. Axl Rose was known for his fury, his screams, his almost violent intensity. But this time he chose to whistle, and the world stopped to listen. Patience begins with that whistle, simple and completely hypnotic. The irony came later, because the song was recorded for the album Gene R. Lies a Roar, more acoustic record than their previous work.
Said woman, take it slow, it'll work itself.
It sold more than 5 million copies in the United States alone, and proved Guns N' Roses was much more than noise and chaos. The lyrics talk about waiting, about having patience, about trusting that love will come. Slash plays an acoustic guitar as if it's an extension of his soul. Duff and Izzy add backing vocals no one expected from them. And Axl sings with a vulnerability that contradicts his entire public image.
All we need is just a little patience.
Before the grandiosity of November Rain in the 90s, there was this gem. A little shorter, but just as intimate. That final whistle has become rock heritage, and a sound we all recognize instantly. And that's the end of this journey. I'll leave you here with a video of another oldies playlist if you want to keep the nostalgia going. See you next time.